Okay, good evening, everyone. I am calling tonight's meeting, Thursday, May 22nd, of the Albany Community Board to order. Our Vice Chair, Antoinette Santos, will now lead us in roll call.
Chair Nairobi Vivas.
Present.
I'm the Vice Chair, Antoinette Santos. Secretary John Lewandowski.
Present.
Dr. Venelia Harden.
Present.
Paul Collins Hackett will be a little bit late. Victor Person will also be a little bit late. And Emily Soak.
Present.
Okay, and staff, we now have Garrett Sheff, our new program director, is also present with Shaniqua Jackson and Brian Jimenez.
Thank you, Tony. Next, I would like to approve our minutes for the April 10th, 2025 meeting. Moving to approve those minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye, or raise your hand.
Aye.
So moved. Before we move on with the agenda, it is with great sadness that we would like to recognize and acknowledge the life and service of Reverend Dr. Victor Collier, who has sadly passed on. Reverend Collier will be truly missed. He served as a board member for over a decade, and during his tenure, he also served as chair of the Mediation Committee. At this time, I would like to ask us all to take a moment of silence for Reverend Collier. Thank you. Moving on with the agenda, are there any changes proposed to today's agenda?
Yes, we'd like to make an introduction of our new program director, Garrett Sheff.
Thank you, Tony. And we can do that at this time. Garrett, if you'd like to speak.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Mr. Secretary, and fellow members. I am excited to be here in the City of Albany and working with you and the Common Council to develop a robust, effective, and efficient police oversight system that benefits the citizens of this city as well as the police department in this city as well. I'm a firm believer that if we get this program right, it makes the environment safer for everyone. It makes the police department's job of managing and maintaining order within the city far more effective and far easier to obtain. It also will allow the community to have confidence in the government function of this city. So I look forward to working with all of y'all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions for Garrett? I just want to say on behalf of the board, we are very excited to have you as well. And for the community, there will be plenty of opportunities to meet with Garrett and the rest of the board in the future. Thanks.
Thanks again.
I do have a couple things to add. We do have an office for the board. It is 175 Central Avenue, room 516. We've actually already had a couple members of the community come in, and I've introduced myself to them as well as our other staff member that we have on board currently. And I'm actively working on helping the board revise both the website and some basic operational forms so we can make sure the public is aware we've transitioned into a new space and to a new website and new email addresses. So we're able to still be in contact with the public as we function.
Thank you for that. Okay, next on our agenda, we'll be moving into the public comment period. If there is anyone here in City Hall or anyone online that would like to speak, please note that your time is limited to 3 minutes. The timer will start when you when you start to speak, and I will signal you when your time is over. Also, just always like to say, if you're speaking on behalf of someone with an active complaint, or you have an active complaint, you don't need to give your name. We keep complainants' names confidential. You may start.
sorry, let me know that that complaint has been heard, you know? And if I don't know that, how am I supposed to know? Since Garrett has been on, I've received the first thing, a simplest thing, a return email letting me know that my complaint has been heard. Since my complaints have been in 6 weeks or so, nobody here has given me a return email. None of y'all. And it makes me question your priorities. Each and every one of you. Thank you, Garrett. I appreciate you. That's basically it. I mean, it shouldn't have taken me this far in order to get my complaints heard. I understand you've pushed some of them further, but the first thing you do was let me know my complaints have been heard. And the only time I was able to hear that was when I showed up in person. Even with Garrett, I had to show up in person in order to kind of move things forward. It makes me question the priorities of all of you. When I'm not the only one, but I'm a member of the public putting in a complaint, and nobody seems to care. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, board member announcements. Do we have any additional announcements from board members? Moving on to the report from the chair. I want to just say, again, welcome to our new program director. As we've reported to throughout our meetings, we've been going through a transition and are happy to be building back staff after the loss of our previous program manager. We're happy to have a physical location for the board, and we're happy to be starting back with complaint review in the way that the community expects and deserves. There will be, like I said, a lot of things coming soon for you to hear about, new developments and opportunities to engage with our board. We thank you for your patience throughout this process, and we thank you for the support for everyone that has helped us through this process. As always, I want to just say thank you to the board members, especially our executive team that carries a lot of the load of this board while we are transitioning. That being said, as I started off with this meeting, we did lose a long-time board member, which is very sad to us. We do have a vacancy in the board. If there are people that are interested, this is a very worthwhile endeavor for this community, but we just again want to extend our condolences to the family of Reverend Dr. Victor Collier, and there are large shoes to be filled, and we will truly miss him. With that, I will end my report and move on into our next item, CPRB committee reports. Tony, do you have a report from the Bylaws and Rules Committee? Oh my gosh. I completely forgot about OPS and Detective Lieutenant Riddy. I'm sorry, I skipped over that. Going back on the agenda to the communications from the City of Albany. Do you have a report from OPS? Sorry about that.
Good evening, everybody. I'll be brief. I'm just going to touch on some of the other things I touched on previously, which is just the new cases that we've received and then the cases that we've since closed. So we have approximately 10 new investigations that have been opened since the last meeting to current. I say approximately just due to some of the complaints that have come through. We're just trying to see if they are part of another complaint that's already existing. But approximately 10 of which we've received that will result in new investigations. Case closures are forwarded on to me for review at this point is 9. So within that time frame, we've also closed 9, or the investigations have concluded on 9 of them. Since the last meeting, we have put in an academy class of 15 recruits. They got sworn in on May 5th. We're continuing recruiting efforts for the telecommunications specialists or dispatchers to get the city staffed up on dispatchers as well. So my office is spearheading that. And then I don't want to steal anyone's thunder, so I'll be very brief on this, but we also had a very good mediation meeting yesterday. So I'll leave that at that, because I know that is someone else's wheelhouse. But I just do want to say that we met yesterday in relation to mediation. We met 2 of the mediators, and it was a very successful meeting. So that is all. If there's no further questions for me.
Any questions or comments?
Yes, Chair Vives, I welcome actually OPS, your perspective or anything you want to add about mediation. That's been an underutilized strategy, so please feel free to, if there is anything you want to say it now.
Sure. So both me and I can speak for the commander as well in relation to this. We've had several discussions regarding it. We see the benefits of mediation. We strongly believe that a lot of the complaints that come through are simply rooted in misunderstanding between police, whether it be practices or procedures, and just the community being heard as a whole. So we see the benefits of having a mediation process in place where there's a neutral location with a neutral party where both sides can ultimately be heard as to whatever transpired that ultimately culminated in a complaint being lodged. So we're excited to look into that, to go down that road. We're going to look through what cases we have that we think would be a good kind of a start to the mediation process, which would be a good candidate for it. So we get this start off on the correct foot. I know Chief Cox also mentioned that yesterday in relation to with the mediation meeting. So we'll be looking at that and seeing if there's any successful or any cases that we see that would be a very good jump start where it can only add wind to the sails for mediation as a resolution to some of these complaints.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to add, I figured you would speak about this, but just again, thank you for the support, dedication, and the collaboration with APD. Our community doesn't always get to see, the officers don't always get to see the work that goes on behind the scene, but everyone came to the table excited to bring this forward. And again, not to dwell on the loss of Reverend Collier, but we did talk about his long-standing work with this committee, and bringing it to this level now, I think is, it just is kind of divine. But again, thank you, and Commander Maury and Chief Cox as well. It was a great conversation, and we got a lot done, and I'm excited for the future of mediation with CPRB and APD. Okay, now, since I jumped ahead, back to CPRB committee reports. And now, Tony, do you have a report from the Bylaws and Rules Committee?
No, there is no official report at this time. There are several changes that are going to be implemented in our bylaws. Once they're placed on paper, then we're going to consult with the consultants before. But I want to thank Dr. Harden for assisting me in making these changes with the bylaws.
Thank you both for your work on that. As we said, Paul Collins Hackett is, Batman is running late, so I'll skip over our Community Outreach Committee and move on to the Investigation Committee. John, do you have a report?
Yeah, just briefly, just welcome aboard Garrett, who I think is going to be a fine asset to our organization and our team here. In the coming weeks, we're going to come together, myself and my vice chair, Tony, to kind of brainstorm and put down some ideas to cut through some of the investigative complaints we've been having and do it in the most efficient manner. I just like to thank Lieutenant OPS. They're making some really good headway with the ones they have already, and we appreciate them with all the work they do have, taking these complaints seriously and working through them as hard as they're doing. On tonight, we're going to vote on 2 subpoenas. I'll let our contract investigator with TNM, Julie Schwartz, talk about those before we vote on.
Thank you, John. Any questions or comments for John? Moving on to mediation. Dr. Harden, do you have a report?
Yes, a few things, Chair, I'm hoping to address. I'd like to thank first the Executive Committee here for all their hard work. Just to reiterate that the board has been in a transition. I think it's important to remind the community of that, that may not understand what our function is and how we function, and the fact that we are grateful to have finally hired a program manager to help field and do the administrative work, to get back to complainants in a timely manner. So I would be remiss if I didn't address that, because we do work hard. It's important for us to continue communication with the public. So even when it's hard to hear, I'm grateful when the community does show up and let us know what they're thinking and what they need so we can do better. That being said, you've heard a lot this evening about mediation, so I won't go on too much about, except the fact that we did hire and contract with 2 different organizations in hopes to move the dial forward and really use this underutilized strategy. I'm grateful for Dr. Reverend Collier for allowing me to come with him on this journey. The mediation was really something he believed in and wanted to see move forward. So I'm happy that he passed the torch to me, and looking forward to who the baton will be passed on to move that forward. It's nice to hear OPS, we gained their feedback and incorporated it so that we can actually use mediation in cases where they're applicable and achievable. Other than that, I think that's all for now with mediation, but more to come.
Thank you, Dr. Harden. Any questions or comments for Dr. Harden? I do want to say thank you to you, though, for pulling this forward. This has been a big goal of ours for some time now, and it feels so close. Thank you for your hard work on that. It was recognized by everyone, the chief, Commander Maury, Detective Lieutenant Ritty, you know, how persistent and diligent you've been with this, and so thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Moving on, do you have a report from Police Department Liaison Committee?
I don't. We will be formally moving the police liaison under John Lewandowski, formally beginning in June or July. So it seems to go hand in glove with the investigations committee. So at this time, there's no report, although that John and Tony have been really active and collaborative with OPS and investigations.
Thank you, Dr. Harden. Moving on to my committee, Public Official Liaison Committee, we did not have a formal meeting, but we did, during the meeting that we've been speaking about, where we discussed mediation, we did get to engage APD leadership and OPS leadership about some items that are generally spoken about in the Public Official Liaison Committee meeting, which include the discipline matrix. Now that there's new leadership in APD, we're finalizing the draft, and we'll be bringing that back and hopefully finalizing the effort and producing that to the community soon. We're working on a committee or a meeting for that, and we also talked about training and other matters as well. So there, hopefully June or July, there will be an official Public Official Liaison Committee meeting where we nail down some of those topics and are able to report back. Any questions for me? Thank you. And we have no items under old business. Moving on to new business, we will,
Chair Vivas, may I just, since Batman didn't make it, I'll add one more thing for community outreach in his absence. I just want to report on behalf of the board that the board did get to, I presented on behalf of the board at NACOL in New York City, which was, we were able to pull it together at the last minute ask, but it was boards from all over who came and really interested. We're really pioneering this work. There were many boards interested in how we got to where we are, how we were able to get funding, how we were able to partner better with police. They're interested in seeing how we use mediation. And I did, at that time, we knew that Garrett was coming on, so I did announce that we would be having a new program manager, and NACO hopes that we continue to be active and consider presenting, coming to their trainings for future events.
thank you, Dr. Harden, and I can't believe that slipped my mind. Thank you so much for stepping up and representing the board. This was for members of the public or that may not know, NACOL is the National Association of oversight of law enforcement, which our board is a part of, and there was a regional meeting for which Dr. Hardin stepped up to represent the board. I just want to let everybody here know, board members, all of the feedback that I got was that you did a phenomenal job, and thank you so much. Kudos to you. This is big because honestly, besides the one panel that we've had at NACOL, the main NACOL convention, this is the second opportunity that Albany has had to be a part of this body, and Dr. Hardin has been part of both, so thank you for your representation and your leadership with that. Thank you for adding that in. I also forgot to add that a village, is that Batman? There we go, right on time. A village did have last month, April 25th, their last Friday series where they have a community conversation and fish fry. They invited the board to speak. I was able to speak for the to the community on behalf of the board. There was a lot of interested people, what's going on, a lot of questions, and it was an opportunity to share more about the board and get some engagement. I did speak to a village and let them know that we would love to continue to participate in that. It was great to just be with people and talk to people at that event. Batman, if you have anything that you want to add to the community outreach report?
Yeah, I've been working with a couple of community groups to discuss a larger review board for the sheriff and the county, and just advising what that would look like, helping them develop and plan. And they've appreciated it, and we're just looking to see how we can share resources and provide, experiences to help them move along as fastly as possible. So that, and then we have a couple of movies coming up in the park that we're going to be tabling at to distribute information. Our movies have been getting rained out every Friday, but ideally, we'll have some movies on the calendar. And then there's an alert event on July 19th, I believe it is, where we're going to be present with a lot of other community members at a family day at MVP Arena.
Thank you, Batman. Moving on, now we will move on. Do we have Julie with us to talk about the consideration of subpoenas? The first for AD 2023, May 31st, 2023, the Madison Park case.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Vivas. Before I ask the board for my request, I too would like to just send my condolences to the Collier family and recognize, all that Reverend Collier had done for the board, and he will surely be missed. So I just wanted to say that on behalf of myself and my colleagues.
Thank you, Julie.
That being said, we are requesting a subpoena on the Madison Park case for Police Officer Gaspari. We were unfortunately under the understanding that he was terminated, but we found out recently he was just suspended. So he's critical to be interviewed in our investigation. He's suspended with pay, so he's still within the reach of the Albany Police Department. So we're asking for permission for that.
Thank you, Julie. Do you have a motion?
I make a motion that we have a subpoena as laid out by our investigators.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Batman, for the second. All in favor, aye, or raise your hand. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, so moved. And our next item is for subpoenas regarding the January 5th, 2025 officer-involved shooting. Julie, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. As you know, we've been also assigned the January 5th, 2025 officer-involved shooting. We'd like to start moving on that. So we're asking for subpoenas for Police Officer Blossom, Stansel, and McCrum. They were three of the major officers that were involved in the response to the location where the shooting took place.
Thank you, Julie. Do we have a motion?
I have a motion for the requested subpoenas related to the June 20th officer-involved shooting.
Thank you, John. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tony. All in favor? Aye. Raise your hand. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, so moved. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Thank you to the board.
Thank you, Julie.
And again, at this time, we are not reviewing complaints, so I will move on to adjourning tonight's meeting. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Good night.
Of course, of course. No, I'm good.
I told him about it last week when it changed.